Hello guys, and welcome to an NGB gameplay video. I'm Ben, and I'm joined by Andy.
Hello.
And I'm joined by Jonny.
Here.
I'm also here.
And I'm joined by Matthew.
Hello.
And Andy is playing the game with one of the longest titles I think I've ever seen.
It's probably not one of the longest titles, but it's certainly a very long title, and I just died in that.
You did.
Andy, will you tell us what the title is?
The title is, we are playing Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So-
right.
I'm really enjoying this screen. Press
Yeah.
X. There we go.
That's a paragraph just there.
Press X to
straight away.
continue.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out what the title was, so it's not the most elegant of titles, but it does do what it says on the tin.
Okay, so
It's
it's in between 2.5 and 3.
It's in between 2.5 and 3. So previously, Square Enix have released a ton of Kingdom Hearts games. I think about 8 in total. We're going to go through the docs.
Yeah.
And what they've been doing over the last few years, they've been working up to the release of Kingdom Hearts 3, which still doesn't have a release date.
Nope.
But is coming out at some point in the future. Oh, sorry,
Indeed.
I've got to pay attention to this shit.
Okay. So you're obviously in some kind of crazy Tron.
I am in
area
the
at moment.
Tron world at the minute. So this particular release, so they last 2013, I think, saw the release of Kingdom Hearts 1.5 on PlayStation 3, which was a HD version of the first Kingdom Hearts game, the Game Boy Advance game, which was redone with sort of a 3D engine, and also a cinematic which summed up the events from, I believe, the first DS game.
Okay.
So it was like a sort of a collection to kind of get you up to speed with what's happening in the story.
Okay.
A year after that, they released Kingdom Hearts 2.5, which again, I've got to pay attention to this. Sorry. There we go. There's these little mini games where you have to basically sort of do these little puzzles to do extra damage to the enemies. Anyway,
Okay.
we'll get onto that in a bit. 2.5 was a pack which comprised of a HD remix of the second game, alongside the PSP game Birth by Sleep, and we've got a little tutorial. Don't let that happen. Get close to your spirit and rescue it by tapping X until you feel engaged.
What are your spirits?
So my spirits are... We're kind of jumping all over the place with this one, aren't we?
Yeah.
There's so much going on though.
There is a lot going on in these games. So what I will do is I will continue that, and we will try and carry on with talking. So the second, So anyway, basically they've been catching up with the various releases on the various formats by porting them to the next gen formats over the last few years.
Yeah.
And this 2.8 is a kind of an interesting one, really, because it is the precursor to Kingdom Hearts 3 in several different ways.
Okay.
What you have in this pack is you have this game that we're playing at the minute, which is the last full Kingdom Hearts release, which was Dream Drop Distance from the 3DS. Do you see what they did there? It's 3Ds. Oh, that's clever.
That is very clever.
So there's this, and then in the package you also get Kingdom Hearts Fragmentary Passage, which
That just sounds rude.
It sounds rude, but
Yeah.
that's actually quite an interesting release for this. It is it's basically an extra chapter for the PSP game, Birth by Sleep, but it's all takes place in the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine. So
Okay,
it's
so it
effectively
looks really
a
nice.
preview. It looks very nice, especially in comparison to this, which is of course an up-resed port, basically. I've
So
got to keep tapping X.
Yeah, and then we've died again.
Yeah.
Is this level fairly
This
indicative
level
of the whole
is
game?
no. I think I'm actually what I will do is I'll show you an interesting mechanic in the game. So
Okay.
in this particular one, Dream Drop Distance, you have the ability to drop throughout the game. So you're playing as two characters in this game. You're playing as Sora, who's the series mainstay,
Right.
and you're also playing as Riku, who's his chum.
Okay.
And to progress in the game, you have to drop between the two characters who can be in different worlds at the same time.
Okay.
And there's this sort of partner mechanic that goes on with this. So we're now as Riku in Traverse Town, which is the like the sort of the the main hub world of
Okay.
the game. And you've got these companions that follow you around. So in previous games, in the first game in particular, you were joined by Donald and Goofy, obviously Mickey Mouse's best chums. And in this game, you, in sort of very Pokemon style, you have to effectively create your own companions, and this is where sort of you can tell it's been ported from a mobile from 3DS, because there's a lot of sort of very 3DS-y mechanics in this, like petting your companions.
Yes.
and such
So-
like.
so-
10 out of 10.
So have they taken that and mapped it to the touchpad then?
No, they've kind of done sort of pseudo. If we get a break in the combat, I'll show you.
Okay.
They've taken a sort of pseudo control the finger with a with the cursor approach.
Okay.
So there we've got a break in the combat. So let me show you the spirits that we've got. So if I bond with my spirits, you'll see I can bond with Meow Wow.
Okay.
And I've also got 2 bats which I call Frank and Loretta.
That cat looks so happy.
It's like a cat-dog thing.
It looks like a
So
cat.
there we go.
It looks like a
Trico.
pig.
It's an ugly cat, that is.
So there we go.
It's
so
the same thing that Trico
I'm-
is, like
I'm
cat-dog
petting-
thing.
I don't know.
It's got a tattoo as well.
It has, yes.
It's got.
What? That is animal cruelty. Who
Yeah,
gave it
who
a tattoo?
tattooed the bloody cat?
Is that cat farting?
I don't actually know what it's
Just
doing.
shaking a tail feather.
It's-
Just being sassy.
Look,
I,
see tattoo.
I
Yes,
will
yeah.
say
Is it a
this
gang tattoo?
outright.
You must
I
be a
had
gang
to
tattoo,
wiki an awful lot at the start of this. I mean, I've played both the numbered Kingdom Hearts games,
Okay.
but there is so much that has happened in this series
Right.
outside of those on the 3DS,
I-
on the DS and the PSP games that if you
So
are
I mean, really, if you want to be playing Kingdom Hearts 3, you're probably going to need to pick this up.
you should pick this up. But if you've never touched a Kingdom Hearts game before ever, don't pick this up first.
Okay.
In March, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 are getting a re-release on PS4,
Okay.
and you really want to be hitting that up first, because this will make 0 to minus sense to you if
Okay.
you've not even touched that
It's
game.
not making any sense to me. There just seems to
I'm
be
sure it does. Yeah.
far too much
Look,
going on.
I like the
There's a
tattooed cat,
Moogle.
though.
There's a Moogle.
Oh, I know what they are. They're
Yes,
from Final Fantasy.
they're from Final Fantasy.
Ah, I know
So-
something.
So I mean, this is a very strange and surreal mix of Final Fantasy and Disney.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre. I mean, it's good. It's an action RPG.
So-
There's, the mechanics are dense but accessible as well.
I mean, the one thing that we did notice there was that obviously at the start they had the Tron world.
Yes,
Are there any other kind of
there are. Let me see if I can go.
not necessarily typical Disney areas, if that makes sense?
Not outside of Traverse Town. Traverse Town is your sort of your stock world.
Okay.
I don't know if I can actually go out of Traverse Town by hand.
No, that's fine.
I think I need to fight because
So I mean, I'm thinking along the lines of almost a bit like Disney Infinity in a way, where
Yeah.
you've got like the Toy Story like a Toy Story area. Like
yeah.
a
So
typical Disney
they
area.
are very typical Disney worlds. There's no Pixar worlds. There's no Star Wars in this.
Okay.
It's very sort of traditional Disney stuff.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, do you think they're going to do that with Kingdom Hearts 3?
I'm not sure. Not a huge amount has been revealed about that, and
No.
Really, this set does. It's interesting from the backstory point of view because it adds a lot that you, for people who are sort of invested in the series, to sort of fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
And certainly, and we'll cut away to some footage of the fragmentary passage. It's not the sort of thing that you want spoiling.
No.
So we're not going to play through it really. But we will chop some footage into this video.
Yeah.
And you'll see it does look really genuinely quite nice.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great to see what they actually do with that game, because it's going to be something quite nice, something quite special. So
Cool.
But
Okay.
this is a very hard game to talk and play at the same
Yeah,
time.
I mean, it does seem to be. We did sort of have a brief chat before we start recording. We said it is quite mechanically dense.
It is, yes.
And it does look like it's one of those games where if you are, if you have a fondness for like action RPGs and stuff like that, then it's going to be. I mean, if you know what Kingdom Hearts is, then you know exactly what these games are. So I think that's
Yes.
It's a little bit disappointing to hear you say that if you don't have any experience with the franchise.
I wouldn't touch this if
Just
you've
yet.
not just yet.
Okay.
I'm kind of disappointed in a way that Square Enix didn't decide to do a complete set.
Just bundle everything.
Yeah, just chuck
together.
everything in together rather than kind of double dipping.
Yeah.
I mean, this is coming out in 2 versions. It's coming out in a less cheap, 35 quid version, I think.
Right.
Which isn't too bad. I mean, it's a fairly budget-ish release, and for that you get in a full game which, you know, while it's a remake, has never been released on PlayStation before. It was for Nintendo 3DS. And you're getting kind of an advanced preview of the new game.
Yeah.
But there's also a $49.99 version coming out.
Okay.
Which is bundled with, I think, a nice case and also a limited edition Disney pin.
Okay.
And do you know much about the Disney pins?
Yeah,
from visiting the parks
they're
at all?
collectible. And
They're
and all
hugely
that.
collectible.
Yeah.
People pay a lot of monies for them. So
Yeah.
this is really aimed at the hardcore Kingdom Hearts Disney collector fan.
Okay.
Um,
So I mean, I think to be honest, what I'm taking from this at the moment is that, I mean, I've always had a sort of curiosity about the Kingdom Hearts games, but the fact that they are so dense, they are so
God, yeah.
difficult to get into has just kept me holding off buying them.
Which is weird for like a franchise that involves Disney, because Disney is like, you know,
Yeah.
Donald Duck and shit.
Yeah.
And they're all like, oh yeah, it's actually really hard to get into this. Why is it like that?
There's a lot of the story that's that kind of goes beyond the Disney stuff. The Disney stuff's kind of almost like a nice wrapper. Particularly the Birth by Sleep sort of chapter of the story was very much focused on the sort of the lore outside of the Disney areas of the franchise. Even though it still included the Disney characters, there's all sorts of stuff like the Keyblade Wars and Organization 13, which are these sort of very typical Square Enix-y sort of tropes.
Bit like Soldier or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, if I could almost say, it's one of those strange games. It kind of hides its inaccessibility behind a nice veneer of Disney characters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite pleasant.
I was going to say,
it is.
There's a lot to like about it.
There is
It's
an awful lot to
You know,
like
it looks
about
nice,
it, yeah.
it runs well.
Yeah.
But as I say, I think given the fact that they've not really bundled literally everything together.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a letdown for me for that. But a lot of the focus.
if you're taking that aside, like in terms of this game, like if you just sort of put aside the feelings about it not being released with the other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, is it kind of what you would have wanted from?
Yeah, I mean it's very good. I never played this on the 3DS. I kind of didn't tackle it because I think it was so far along in the series. But it's very much typical Kingdom Hearts sort of fare.
Yeah.
And I can't, it's hard to complain about these. They're nice games. They're quite dense. They've got a lot going on in them. There's a lot of story. They're fully voice acted.
Oh, that's cool.
So a lot of the voice actors are back from earlier in the series. So you've got Haley Joel Osment as the voice of the lead character, Sora.
Does he see dead people?
He doesn't see dead people, and he sounds remarkably older than he did in the films you recognise him from. And Hayden Panettiere also voices one of the lead characters.
Oh, Matthew likes her, don't you?
Matthew just perked up a little bit there.
What, eh? So and also interestingly, a lot of the voice actors from the older Disney films have come back to sort of voice their characters.
Okay.
I think in the first Kingdom Hearts, it was something like the voice actress that played Alice in Alice in Wonderland was actually brought back for the game. So there's a lot of interesting sort of fan service in these.
Cool.
Both from the Final Fantasy and the Disney side of things. In the first Kingdom Hearts, there was cameos from the likes of Cloud and Squall and your popular Final Fantasy characters.
Okay.
So there is tons of fan service in these games. It's got its own lore. It's a great series, but this isn't a good jumping off point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's one for people that are they know what they want to play.
Absolutely.
And they're looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 3, and this is a way to tide them over.
Absolutely.
And if you want to get into it, probably wait until March.
Wait until March, pick up the first one, and then the first two remixes, and then pick this one up.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot. And take care, guys. We'll see you again soon. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and all of that stuff. And we'll see you soon.
Goodbye to you.
Bye.
Bye.